witchies and ghoulies, back to my channel, Witchy by Nature. Today we have a different setup. I thought this would be a lot better without the chaos in the background. Also, I'm sorry if I keep looking that way. I am actually recording on my new phone that I bought, which takes really nice videos and has a really nice sound quality compared to what I was using before, which was a camcorder just off of Amazon and a microphone off of Amazon. And I feel like I could have just gotten the a new phone instead of just buying all of that, but you know, you live and you learn. Oh well. But today we are talking about Samhain. We won't be talking a whole lot about Samhain today, actually. I kind of just want to go over a little bit of it. I feel like most everyone has already done like a video on Samhain anyway. I feel like if I just add to the conversation, no one will really get anything out of it, but except like I chose like 2 things that I really wanted to talk about out of the whole Samhain situation. Anyway, let's get on to it. Who celebrated it in the past? Well, the Celts did. The Celts consist of Ireland, Wales, and Scotland. The ancient Celts believed this to be a liminal time where the veil between the human and spirit realms is lifted. Samhain is Irish Gaelic for summer's end. Or, well, we used to think of it as summer's end. Actually, Samhain is technically the name for November in Irish Gaelic. How you spell it is Samhuin. And the Scott Gaelic spelling is Samhuinn. Also, sorry if like you see a black light that come in here and I look down. It's because I'm reading off a piece of paper because my memory retention is not that great. So, thanks guys. But I also found out that Samhain is actually not a word that the Welsh use. The Welsh actually use Nos Galan Gaeaf, that is October 31st, and they use Coln Gaeaf for November 1st. And who I found this from is actually from Mara Starling on Twitter, and she is actually, I'm pretty sure she's Welsh, and I will link that down in the description below of her Twitter post that I actually saw. So y'all will get to see that source that I used. I will be linking sources down in the description below, just so like you can look for yourself what I have researched. The Celts also divided the year into half, the light half of the year and the dark half of the year. The light half of the year consisted of Beltane and Lunasa, and the darker half contained Samhain and Imbolc. Samhain seemed to be the most important to them, as this was the changing of the new year for them, as they started their day in the dark as well at dusk, kind of like the Romans and Greeks. And Samhain also seems to have predated the Celts by 2,500 years by the people who probably used to live there. We are also going to be talking about the Christianized Catholic version of Samhain, as the church started gaining power. They were taking pagan celebrations and they were mixing them into their own traditions so that the pagans would be more likely to become Christian and get baptized, which I'm actually not entirely sure if the Catholics baptize. I'm not entirely sure about that point. I actually didn't research that, but I probably should. I probably should get to know that a little bit more. But what I have down here is that in the 18th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as All Saints' Day, and it is a day of commemoration for those saints that did not have a specific day of remembrance. Pope Gregory III dedicated an oratory in the original St. Peter's Basilica, sorry, I am terrible with words, Basilica, in honor of all the saints on November 1st, according to some accounts. And this date became the official date for the celebration of the Feast of All Saints in Rome. According to an early church historian, John Belleth, Pope Gregory IV actually officially declared November 1st the Feast of All Saints, transferring it from May 13th. However, Sicard of Cremona recorded that Pope Gregory VIII finally suppressed May 13th and mandated November 1st as the date to celebrate All Saints' Day. History on the church is kind of like muddy, as in some believe that it was Pope Gregory III that officially made it happen. Some thought it was Pope Gregory IV, and some thought it was like Pope Gregory VIII, which we'll never know, but that link is also down in the description below if you want to read it as well. All Souls Day is when those who have passed away are remembered. It marks the beginning of the darker half of the year as the winter draws near. And then we go into the night before was known as All Hallows Eve, which is October 31st, which over time became known as Halloween. This was done to incorporate the ancient pagan traditions of Ireland that the church wanted to overcome and blend into Christianity, like I said earlier. Samhain in Ireland is a time to honor the family's ancestors and those that had passed. These spirits were honored and invited into the family home while the harmful spirits were kept away. Folks wore costumes and masked themselves as harmful spirits to avoid any harm. And in Ireland and in Britain, and I'm pretty sure also Welsh, mummers, which are these people who dress up, would put on the costumes and go door to door singing songs to the dead or to the people in the houses. And they were offered cakes in exchange for singing and playing, and sometimes even playing pranks. And the pranks that were played were also blamed on fairies. And modern day trick-or-treating derives from the ancient practice of mumming in the nights leading up to Samhain. And food was also prepared for the living and the dead, and the dead's portion was shared with those who didn't have as much. These celebrations went long into the night, and offerings of food and gifts were left out for the fairies and little folk. Participants celebrated with huge bonfires to light the way into the season of the dark. The bones of the family livestock were also cast into communal fires and bonfires, and food played a great role in the festivities. And actually, bonfire originally meant a great fire, which bones were burnt in the open air. But in French, bon meant good. So that led some people to believe that bonfire meant good fire. In which case, the British lexicographer Samuel Johnson, also in his 1755 dictionary of the English language, in which he defined bonfire as a fire made for some public cause of triumph or exaltation, and derived the word from the French bon and the English word fire. But instead, the word is actually derived from Middle English bone fire, meaning a fire of bones, in which I have a little theory about that, as the Celts normally believed that fire was a way to cleanse a space and people and livestock and even crops. So they would have like huge fires, bonfires, pretty much. Huge bonfires, but not bonfires. These were probably like normal, like wood, not bones, that they would use. But they would pass their cattle through like two huge bonfires to purify the cattle, or people would like leap over the bonfire to purify themselves for the next year coming, which seems like really cool when you think about it, because now if you try and do that today, you'll probably get scolded like by your parents, or unless you're in a drunken stupor and you live by yourself. But you know, those good old days. That'd be kind of cool if we still did that, though. And then modern Wiccans and pagans still celebrate Samhain today. Typical festivities include bonfires, dancing, and feasts, and many people actually hold a variation of the Dumb Supper, eating in silence to honor deceased ancestors. Some people cook what they think their ancestors ate back in the day, and they would give a portion to them, and then a portion to to yourself, and you would leave a seat open at the table where you would sit at to eat for your deceased loved ones or any ancestor that you feel called to and you would eat in silence as remembrance for them. So I've tried to do it before. Didn't really happen because usually we go to like a party or something, or we have people come over and hang out, or at least before 2020. So, but hopefully this year I can do it. Last year I didn't do it. We didn't really do anything for Halloween last year. We were going to leave like candy out for kids, but I don't think we really went last year, got candy for kids or anything. I don't even think anyone trick-or-treated last year on our street, but oh well, what you gonna do about it? So how can you celebrate? Some people celebrate it on the astrological date where the 15 degrees Scorpio. So that could be a variation of any days between the last week of October to the first week of November. You could also just do the normal dates of October 31st through November 2nd, or even like October 31st, the 1st, or the 2nd, or you can do it like the week before, week after, week during. Doesn't really matter. Or you could just do another date. Celebrate how you want to celebrate it. If you feel like a particular day thins the veil more than like another day, do that. What's the point in being a pagan if you can't really like make up your own holidays? Anyway, that's like for me anyway. So, but yeah guys, that was my video today. Sorry it's kind of jumbled. I'm just trying to figure things out with this new piece of technology and trying to actually write scripts. So I might start looking down more because my memory retention is not that great. I do try and like do bullet points, but I don't think that's been going very well so far. Sometimes I do like to go off the cuff, but sometimes that doesn't work either. So I'm gonna try and like figure something out. Also, please let me know if you like this backdrop more than my previous backdrop. I know the previous one is more cluttered because I do have a lot of stuff. This is more neutral than anything. So, but yeah, please leave a like or dislike. I really don't care. It gives me engagement. Subscribe down below. Also, comment and subscribe. It gives me more engagement. I would really like to know what y'all would like me to talk about. Just leave a comment, let me know what you want. So, and I'll take it into consideration. So, bye. So, I need to do something with this. I really need to get like bangs or something to like, because my forehead is like, whew, huge. Oh, also I got a new haircut. I did it myself. Sorry, I can't. Also, oh, you can tell I'm like holding up a piece of paper. Ooh, you can see my paper. I'm probably gonna cut that out because it like made no sense to me. Because I probably, you know, fucked it all up, but whatever.